Hello and welcome, guys. We're here today with a new member. Our sister is standing in for our other brother, Wyatt, who could not make it for this review, even though he saw the movie. He regrets not being here. Unforeseen difficulties led to him not being here.
A lot of unforeseen difficulties today. Yeah.
So
hectic day.
we're here to review A Wrinkle in Time, a new movie from Disney, new family movie.
What were your guys' thoughts when you saw the trailer? Because I was psyched when I saw the trailer. I liked it. I think I didn't say that as much around the family because other people weren't quite as psyched about it, but I was. Mainly because I'd read the book.
I did not have high expectations from the trailer. Some expectations were exceeded from the trailer, and some were. The trailer did not hint at how crazy the insanity this movie goes into. I think the main character, Meg, exceeded my expectations. I thought she was better in the movie than she looked like in the trailers. The trailers, I did not have high expectations, but she was actually one of the best things about the movie.
I completely agree. Going over my complaints, Meg, there are no complaints on Meg. I liked her acting. I liked the character. I wish they could have done it a little better.
Yeah, so to start off, this one was about from the get-go was very strange. I can't compare it to anything else.
That's true.
I feel like there should have been some contrast because, the point of the movie is that it's normal, goes from normal world to the wrinkling in time world, and the normal world was filmed so strangely before they got to the time wrinkling stuff. So it was like there was less of a contrast.
That's a good point. It was so weird from the get-go. No one was acting normal.
There was sometimes little acting difference between the crazy people they run across that are like projections in the evil world that they go to. They were almost acting the same as some of the people who are in the real world that were just kind of acting like jerks. So, follows our lead character Meg. Her father and mother were both genius scientists. Her father was trying to bend time like usual. Not really time, but space, wormholes and stuff. But his theories were more wrinkling time, hence the title.
But yeah, did they ever really talk about traveling in time? They only ever talked about traveling in space.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't technically time travel, was it?
It probably could time travel if they went into that, but they didn't. It wasn't necessary for the story to time travel. But yeah, usually space traveling through wormholes and time travel go together, hand in hand, typically.
Yeah.
They were just mainly distances were the main thing that they were worried about here.
Other planets and stuff.
Yeah. Her father goes mysteriously missing, assuming, I don't think it's a spoiler to assume that he did something concerning his science experiments, took him away. That's not really much of a spoiler to me because you kind of got that from the trailer.
Right, yeah.
So her father disappeared, and it's been 4 years now, and it's really tearing Meg up and kind of destroying it. Not her being upset is more destroying her life than their life actually being destroyed. Their family isn't destitute or anything. It's affected her mood greatly, and her grades and attitude have gone downhill.
Picking fights at school.
Yeah, picking fights
at
school.
Yeah. Saying mean things to her mom.
Yeah. To lead into more examples of how it was strange from the beginning, barely anyone acts like a human here, besides Meg and her parents, Chris Pine, and I don't know the actress's name. But,
I'm not going to try to pronounce it.
Yeah, but her parents, their acting is great, and Meg's acting is good.
Yeah.
Everyone else are not human.
Yeah.
The first time I was absolutely sure of this was when her little brother overhears two teachers gossiping about the family. The teachers did not sound human at all.
No.
It was so bad. And then the little brother starts talking a lot at that scene and yelling, and we could not understand what he was saying.
No.
We needed subtitles.
I could not. And I knew a little more what to expect from his character, but I was just thinking they did this all wrong.
The bullies were very strange.
Yeah, really, really awkward filming of the bullies. Like, it was just how the bullies were displayed on screen were really
And
strangely.
was that
Yeah.
one of the first times that the close-ups were being used? That like it would portray their bullying as then just like zooming up on their face and just them saying something.
Wasn't it like Hi Meg or something?
Yeah.
Or Hey Meg?
Just like,
And I
"Hey,
was-
Meg."
It was said so threateningly, but I was like, why is this threatening? I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
Uh,
One night, mysteriously, Reese Witherspoon's character shows up in their house, and somehow her little brother is all-knowing and is just okay with everything. These, what are these three women called? I can't remember. Like,
they just called them the misses.
Their names?
the misses.
The misses.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
Collectively what they're
Mhm.
called.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows about this already, or acts like he's been talking with them.
Mm-hmm. That, I do remember that from the book, I think.
Okay. And yeah, Reese Witherspoon is high.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's at first the very first thing that popped in my head was just, oh my, she's high. But I mean, a lot of people in this movie were kind of acting like they're high, so.
The whole movie was acting
Oh.
like it was high.
Right off the bat, I was so annoyed by Reese Witherspoon, and I usually enjoy Reese Witherspoon and think
Yeah.
she's funny, so I was severely disappointed by that. Just because I wanted her to stop talking, and that's not a normal thought I have when watching a movie with Reese Witherspoon, so.
Wasn't a good first introduction.
No!
Mm,
And
No.
I'm so confused.
yeah, then I don't even know how they get her to leave. But yeah, she
think she just leaves.
leaves. And then
Was there a reason for her even coming there in the first place? I can't even.
introducing herself, I guess.
Yeah.
Getting their minds prepared for the entrance
For
of
the weirdness ahead.
Oprah. But anyway, so in between that and the scene we're going to get to, they're walking on the street and this boy comes along who goes to Meg's school named Calvin. They haven't introduced him before. They don't show him on the playground. They have a playground scene where
I thought maybe
they
they
did.
Yeah,
did.
like when the bully was bullying her and Meg threw the ball, he was staring
He
at
was staring at her.
just in the background, just kind of.
I kind of remember her staring at her on the playground, and yeah.
they didn't introduce him well enough.
No,
just
you didn't know
he
his
was
name
that-
or anything.
That
He was
creepy
that
stalker
weird.
behind her.
Yeah, he was that boy staring at Meg,
And-
pretty much.
Yeah. And then they're on the sidewalk and he walks up to them and is like, I was doing my homework and then I just had a feeling that I needed to come out here and meet you guys. I'm like,
And just yeah, the way he said it, he was just like, I felt I needed to be here, right here, where you are, or something like that.
and throughout the entire movie, he's another one, he's not acting like a human.
Oh no, I was baffled by every one of his lines. Anytime he had dialogue, I was like laughing out loud.
And then right after that, the little brother again is all-knowing and knows which house to go into to meet Mindy Kaling, who talks in quotations. Did the book go in more into that?
You know, I meant to look through it, and See, because I can't. That's part that I can't remember. It's possible.
Because it's been a while since you read the book.
It has. It's been several years since I've read the book.
I didn't understand the explanation of why she did that and when she didn't. Like, why she had to. Like, it was something to do with... I had no idea, actually, why she did that.
Because then she'd snap out of it towards the end.
Yeah.
And when she snapped out of it, they made a comment that, like, their powers were weakening, and then she started talking normal. So it's like, why was she doing that when they're weakened? I don't know.
When they finally meet the three misses together in their backyard, well, first there's an awkward scene with the main bully of Meg is her neighbor, and then she just kind of awkwardly stares out of her window at their backyard.
Practically leaning out the window,
Yeah,
right? Like, just...
Like, when they first noticed her just standing there, I was like, is she gonna jump?
It was for an awkwardly long moment of time.
Yeah, and she...
Kept
I
coming back
think
to
if
just
she's
her
a bully,
staring.
she'd be, like, taunting them or something, but she was just, like... Just kind of, like... looking at him. And... yeah, so that was an awkward scene.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with Calvin.
And because it happened more than once.
Yeah. So yeah, then the backyard scene continues when the misses show up and they're trying to lure them because they're master time wrinklers or something, and they have information about her father or want to help her find her father or something.
They heard a distress call of the universe or something.
And it led them there to that backyard.
Yeah, it led them to
Meg
them.
or something.
Something like that. Because they couldn't follow it back to where it came from, they had to follow it where it was going.
And they
like
needed Meg's help, right? They said that. We need your help. Us.
What did they need
Didn't
her
they?
help for?
That's what I was wondering when they said that.
Their powers more easily degraded by the bad juju.
I guess.
I suppose.
And yeah, the thing that really bothered me about that scene, besides certain large people, we'll get into that in a little bit, but these three eccentric strangers want to lure these kids out of their backyard, and when Meg says, hey, maybe we should go tell our mom we're leaving, they're like, no, don't tell your mother, come with us. That's not creepy at all. That's exactly what you're not supposed to do. Why are you telling kids to do this?
You don't need to worry your mother over this. She won't understand. Come with us.
It's like, that's stranger danger 101. If they tell you don't go get your parents, then that's when you go get your parents.
Especially as drugged out as they were acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did not make them seem like benevolent guardians, more like they're luring them away.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then there was Giant Oprah.
Yeah, I was prepared for Oprah with weird makeup. I was not prepared for Giant Oprah popping up, being the size of a house.
For a good 20 minutes to half hour of the movie.
The probably half of her screen time was just Giant Oprah. It's just like...
I did not understand that at all. I think that's the point where they completely lost me, because before I was just, okay, this is pretty bad, but then at the Giant Oprah part, then I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna sit back and watch this.
Yeah. So that's about the ending of the first act of the movie, so we should probably, before we get into more spoilers, we should probably go ahead and give ratings, because we wanted to split it up so people who cared didn't get spoilers. I think I've got a rating in mind. I guess I was thinking 4 out of 10 for what I'm saying.
And I'm never very good at figuring out ratings. Do we have
Wyatt's? He had a surprise rating.
Yeah.
In Emmett's pocket.
Yeah,
in my pocket.
Wyatt gave us his rating so he could be here in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we have notes in his rating. Okay, someone give me a drum roll. 3.5!
Hey, that's close to mine.
I was gonna say 3. Just because that's how disappointed I was. I was expecting more. And it just... I was disappointed.
There's a cat fight outside. They weren't appreciative of your rating.
Nope.
And you give 1 yet?
I guess I'll go put 3.5 too, just because I'm staring at this.
Should have given your rating before you pulled Weiss out.
What? I
Think for yourself.
like to
You can think.
I like to go in the middle
So
when I don't have
rated it
anything
the
to
highest.
compare it
Wow.
to.
I liked it the most.
I
I'm
mean,
surprised.
I mean,
Huh.
though, when you reminded me that I did like Meg,
And she was the main
I
character.
do want to
so
rate it a little higher. Maybe I'd go
Are you
for...
changing your rating?
No. I'll probably stick with 3 just because they ruined a good character. She was a good character, a good actress. She did fine. It could have been really good if they'd had a better movie around her, but they didn't. So I'll probably stick with 3.
yeah, because even though it's one of those that's so bad, but you kind of have to watch it. It's kind of interesting to watch.
It's a train wreck. You can't take your eyes off the
Oh
screen.
yeah, Trainwreck is the best description. Yeah.
So now we're going to start our spoiler, in-depth, deeper dive into this movie. Past the beginning. We're now past the beginning.
Yeah.
There's just so much to talk about.
Yeah, I need to grab
So, just
The-
one thing after another, just staring at it like, what?
The entire movie, I was baffled. I was so baffled.
My brain is wrinkled.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, whenever they wrinkle time and travel, I guess, they call it tessering. And when they first brought up the Tesseracts, I was just thinking it's just seemed a little funny with the Avengers Tesseract and stuff, but then just kind of what you were saying about them luring the kids away out of their backyard, I was just thinking, it seems a little awkward hearing them say, like, oh, we're gonna Tesser now.
One thing I forgot to write in my notes about the beginning. The prologue segment where Meg's young and Chris Pine gives her the little foldy paper to try to demonstrate love. When he first gave that to her, he was like, are you ready to be introduced to your little baby brother? And then he gives her this thing to demonstrate love, and I'm like, oh, so that's how you're telling her where babies came from. Because that's what it seemed like to me. Like he was trying to explain to her where babies come from with this little foldy piece of paper, and I'm like, okay, that's different. I didn't legitimately think that's what it was for, but it sure seemed like somebody could mistake it for that.
And, yeah, before he brought out the little foldy paper, I thought she was gonna go meet her baby brother, like, in the hospital or something, and then the mom walks in, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's adopted, which I don't think was in the book. I don't think he was adopted. But did they ever say that for sure?
Yeah, they didn't explain that very well. I guess you're supposed to just roll with it, basically. Because there's a lot of stuff in the movie you just basically have to roll with it.
Yeah.
So, going back to the backyard scene.
Yeah.
So, they tesser and end up in this shiny, happy world. Grassy. Supposed to
Rolling
be
green meadows.
the happiest place in the universe because it's Reese Witherspoon's favorite place. They kind of frolic for a few minutes. Carefree, they don't really care about their father
Not
for a
too,
few minutes.
not too worried.
Just let's explore.
Yeah, and then Reese Witherspoon.
She talks to the flower fairies.
Oh yeah, the gossipy flower color changing fairies, and they're supposed to be like acting like it's a good idea to get all your information from gossipers. And I thought that was a bad message too. Like gossiping can be a bad way to learn information.
Very bad.
Yeah. So and then when they get direction to head from the gossipy fairies, they need a form of transportation. So Reese Witherspoon offers herself as a cabbage, I guess, and
that is what it looked like. That's
Yeah.
not how they looked in the book. They did transform into creatures, but they did not look like floating cabbage.
I guess she
Yeah.
took inspiration from the flowers.
I guess.
yeah, she turns into a big, floaty, planty, flying cabbage.
And just when they first go there, like when Oprah was introduced in the backyard, she was like as big as a house. When they go to this rolling green meadow, she's like a mountain. She's like towering above them, so that whenever they talk to her, it's just like them on the ground, then just cut to Oprah on a green screen with sky and clouds floating around, just, oh, hello.
I did not understand that at all. I was... What?
And then just awkward stuff with Reese changing,
Oh, yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
you get a line from Calvin along the lines of, whoa, Mrs. What's It? People don't just get naked.
Yeah, that leads me to just... Because usually you'd expect kids' movies to have a lot of humor, but you almost forget this even has humor, because so much of it is said by people who aren't acting human, so it's
Oh, yeah.
hard to get good deliveries from anyone, especially Calvin.
Especially. I was laughing at everything Calvin said, I think.
Yeah.
Not because it was supposed to be funny, I don't think.
Yeah, everything Calvin said was unintentionally hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I was like, who is this kid?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's weird because he was the main kid from Pan. He was Pan,
Mhm.
and I liked him in Pan. I thought he was one of the best things about Pan. But
Mm-hmm.
then in this movie, it's like, what happened?
It was bad.
So yeah.
So bad.
So then they fly around on Reese Witherspoon as a cabbage for a little bit, and when she's in human form, she talks a lot, but then suddenly when she's in cabbage form, she has a face, but she does not speak a word. I guess cabbages can't talk.
They just can't form those cabbage lips right.
Yeah.
When they're flying on the wavy cabbage leaf that is now Reese Witherspoon, they fly by mountainous Oprah, and yeah, she's smiling at them as they float by, and they float just a little too close, and the little boy, it was the boy, right? Yeah.
little brother, yeah.
He reaches up and touches giant Oprah's face.
And she makes this face
And
like...
she's just like, ha, as the little boy strokes her chin. And I was just staring at the screen like, if you see a giant Oprah face flying around in the sky, don't touch it.
Don't touch it. That... Oh my.
Basically, that moves on to Zach Galifianakis. And his stuff is so boring, I don't really think we need to talk about it too much.
It was weird, but yeah, I was bored.
I kind of zoned out.
I didn't know what.
Oprah finally got down to a regular
Oh,
size.
Oh yeah.
And
that
she had
finally
this little
happened.
"be yourself" speech. So it's pretty
I guess.
cliche.
Yeah. When they start getting down to the messages that could kind of be helpful instead of the go follow your drug dealers out of your backyard message.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And listen to all the gospers.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to mention, about by this time in the movie, you'd heard about 5 pop songs. They
Oh,
had
yeah.
Oh yeah.
way too much pop songs in some of the most emotional moments, so it just ruined those.
Drag
And
you out of
'cause
the movie.
I
just-
was thinking the score was one of the better things about the movie.
I did want to notice
Yeah.
the score, but I always forgot about it because the pop songs show up
And-
in the moments the score really
Yeah.
could have helped.
Whenever there was a more impacting or dramatic moment, I was thinking, okay, this is a time where the score could shine, because all the other times I really liked it. But then, pop song!
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
look at
supposed to
that.
be sad. There's a pop song. You're supposed to be unsettled of the creepy planet. Oh, a pop song. It's just...
you're flying on the back of Witherspoon Leaf. Pop song, or maybe they didn't have a pop
Probably
song at that
not,
point,
but yeah.
just
Mhm.
pop
And
song's
they
the
all
default.
sounded the same to me.
The one thing I was gonna mention when they were seeing Zach Galifianakis, they go into a little bit more of the backstory of Calvin with his father, who's mean, but I mean it's not the most abusive a father could be. It seems like PG Disney mean father,
Yeah.
just yelling at him about getting a B on his at school. I mean,
And
it's sad.
And they're talking about how evil creeps into the world and how people are affected by the evil, the it mist or whatever it was.
Mhm.
Which that was really silly with it coming out, and then they're calling the stuff the it.
Which that's probably a coincidence because I'm guessing the book.
Yeah,
called
it's. I think it's called that in the book. I did think it was funny anytime they would talk about the it. I was just.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so with trying to give Calvin that backstory, it didn't mesh with him acting like a robot all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another pop song during that scene, so it was, hard to get any feeling from that. After they meet with Zach Galifianakis, they want to take all the kids home to regroup and kind of rethink their plan, I guess. Makes me think, did they have a plan to begin with?
Didn't seem like it.
Yeah, so instead of tessering home, Meg's power of will reroutes them and takes them straight to the dark evil planet. And the the misses. Because one of them's called Mrs. Witch, so I always think they're witches, but the misses say their power can't be sustained here and they're fading, so they have to abandon the kids on this evil planet, but they give them a warning that this planet's evil.
Yeah.
Don't follow anything, don't be tempted by anything, don't be distracted by anything.
Yeah.
Basically.
Don't trust anyone.
Yeah.
Don't trust this planet because it is evil.
Mm-hmm.
Evil incarnate.
First thing that happens is they lose sight of Charles Wallace, and then they run into...
And then disembodied voices tell them that Charles Wallace is safe.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, how were they still hearing the misses?
Like, the misses were so affected by the planet that they had to leave, but yet they could yank Charles Wallace to a safer area when all of the crazy stuff was going on with the other two.
And then this forest grows up magically.
Just pops up. Yeah.
Another cat.
Scratching at the door.
She wants in.
Yeah, so, and then this tornado cyclone thing starts up in the forest and starts ripping everything, and they're running away from it, but then they realize that they need to...
Get on top of a wall.
Yeah, it's more of a cliff, really.
It looks like a cliff.
Yeah, they called it a wall, but it was a cliff with, more like a plateau or something.
Yeah.
So they decide that the only way over the cliff is to hide inside a stump and let the cyclone pick them up and throw them over. Which, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But still, we're calling this scene the nuking of the stump in reference to nuking of the fridge in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Because they're inside this hard structure being tossed way out and hitting the ground.
And when they get out, they look at the clouds up in the sky. It's like the mushroom cloud on Indy. And the tornado was roaring, I'm pretty sure. Like Twister tornadoes. So just, oh look!
Yeah. So right after that, they get little Charles Wallace, who's just having a happy old time.
He's just not concerned at all.
Not concerned when he stumbles upon... I don't know if you could call it a romantic moment, because just any of the trying to build on Meg and Calvin's relationship, it was just like, you're really creepy, Calvin.
Oh yeah, Calvin was creepy.
But yeah, anyway.
Right after that, then they go into this weird, almost like retro, but the kids aren't all dressed retro, but most of the mothers are dressed retro.
Stepford wives and their children.
Yeah.
Kind
All
of
the
thing.
kids are synchronized bouncing their dodgeballs.
Yeah.
So yeah, when they went to that town, first thing I was thinking, like, little Charles Wallace is getting bothered by the noise. If this movie had a good sense of humor, I'd say that since all these kids are like the uncoordinated smart kids that probably wouldn't like sports, that they're like dramatically afraid of dodgeballs.
Yeah.
That would have been added maybe a little humor to that scene. I don't know.
Because it was another one where you couldn't tell if they're trying to be unsettling. I'm sure they were, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Not in
And
the
then
way it was supposed to be.
all the other mothers call their children in synchronized fashion. And then one mother stays out and notices them and like, are you lost? Like you see it in the trailer. Yeah, I don't know if you want to say what happens after that.
Just, she's inviting them inside for roast. And I think Calvin had even sensed roast or something like that. And mashed potatoes and all sorts of cake.
Cake of all
Cakes
sorts.
of all sorts.
Darn it, I messed it up! How could I do that?
Cakes of all sorts.
But yeah, cakes of all sorts.
And then Meg, always the smart one, is like, Calvin, stop it. Let's go.
All Calvin wants to do is eat the cake.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's not concerned at all about this evil planet, someone offering them food.
It's just like, but it's
Yeah.
cakes of all sorts.
Yeah, and then so yeah, they leave that planet and that town. They leave the town and it just kind of, folds away and not really sure what it was supposed to be besides scary trailer scenes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really have any other besides a funny Calvin line.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they find themselves on a beach with creepy as all heck Michael Pena.
Oh yeah.
Just
Oh yeah.
popped up in the middle of this beach party and just in the wackiest outfit and just like, ugh.
And he feeds them, tries to feed them sandwiches, and then
And
Calvin loves the sandwiches, and then
He's just working them down.
Charles Wallace thinks that sandwiches taste like sand, and then Michael Pena is like, "Oh, Charles Wallace, you're exactly like me. Take my hand. I'll show you the wonders of the universe." And then, yeah, so he kidnaps Charles Wallace, and Charles Wallace just wants to follow Michael Pena and doesn't care about Meg anymore. For some reason, I guess. Tricks of the mind. Yeah, you'll go more into that.
I'll go more into that, yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to say something about that. The thing I was thinking that could have been something dark that they didn't go into. The sandwiches that Calvin is still holding turned to sand, and he ate a bunch of sandwiches. So does he have a bunch of sand in his stomach then? That wouldn't be good.
No.
Yeah, that would be dark. That's why you never see him again.
Because he does disappear.
Yeah. He's had emergency surgery. Then, do they go straight to the White Room after that?
I think so, because they're running after... I keep on wanting to call him Walsh.
Walsh.
Calvin, not Chestnut.
Charles
Wallace, thank you! They're running after, and then all the umbrellas get in their way, then all of a sudden it's White Room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Charles Wallace is acting possessed, and then there's also... Is it immediately Michael Pena puppet?
Yes!
Yeah, Michael Pena kind of looks like plastic puppet man.
And he has strings.
With marionette strings. That's unsettling for children, and then he crumbles eventually.
And he doesn't do anything as a puppet, he's just standing there talking.
And then
he crumbles.
Possessed Charles Wallace says something about sadists. Did I hear that right? Did he say something about join the sadists or something?
I could not tell what he was saying.
It sounded like he said something about like join the sadists, and I'm like, are you serious? At a little Disney kids movie?
I feel like even more hilariousness could be gotten. I don't know if I'd want to watch this movie again, but if watching it on DVD with subtitles, and
you'd catch a lot more
of the ridiculousness of the dialogue was so bad.
That leads me to when the climax is going. Meg is trying to snap her little brother out of his possession. And this possession in the movie, it sounds like it infects people who have darkness in their heart and they let it in. Then she convinces Calvin to... No, not Calvin. Charles. It's hard to keep the name straight.
I kept doing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get Calvin out of the possession because of his love, that he showed all this love and kindness. In this version, why was he the first one to get possessed if he showed the most love and kindness? And I didn't understand that in the movie, but you have more insight because you read the book.
Yeah, that is the one part that I remembered the most clearly from the book is Charles Wallace's possession, because that bothered me so much when I read the book. Having little brothers myself, having peril happen to a little brother, really bothered me. And I just thought the movie skipped over that scene where Charles Wallace gets possessed. In the book, it was a very clear decision that he made. The creepy man asked him if he wanted to join him and see what it was like. And, oh, you can come back. He kept making promises like, you can come back. You just have to see what it's like and we'll let you come back to your sister. And they kind of made a point in the book, I thought, that since he was a genius, he had too much confidence in his own intelligence and that, oh, there's no problem. I'll be able to come back after I see what brainwashing is like, I guess. But he just wanted to see what it was all about. They skipped over that part so fast in the movie, you didn't even see him make that conscious choice. I thought that kind of ruined the importance of it.
It was just an instant transition from him being led away to him being possessed.
Yeah. It wasn't a wrong choice that Charles Wallace made, it was just something that happened.
Mm-hmm.
More creepy imagery for kids when Charles Wallace gets possessed and Meg eventually finds her father. Charles Wallace basically telepathically dragging them down that dark hallway. That was really scary
That was a
imagery.
little creepy.
That was like...
That was edging on PG-13.
That was legitimately scary.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Just that it wasn't clear to me when he got possessed, because I kept waiting for them to do what they did in the book, and that in the book, like, his pupils disappeared when he got possessed, and so there was just weird stuff going on with his eyes, and they did just a tiny bit in the movie of his eyes getting red, but...
Anyway, so yeah, this video, we just had a lot to say about this one. We felt like there was so much we needed to cover because it was
so much to analyze.
It was
such
puzzle.
a puzzle, yes. Puzzle and
Yeah.
a train wreck, and...
Wrinkly.
Yeah, that's why this video took so long, because it's basically the most perplexing movie we've seen this year since we've had this channel up.
Oh, yeah.
And we have you who read the book, so that's more insight. We wouldn't have known this as much about contrasting the two.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yep.
I can't do that.
So, that wraps it up. We'll see you guys later.